Picture this. I finally buy my dream home. A beautiful, historic log cabin built back in the 1890s. It's tucked away in the mountains, surrounded by nothing but nature. It's my perfect little slice of heaven. I spent years saving up, and finally, it was all mine. The first few months were pure bliss. I was fixing the place up, learning its quirks, and just enjoying the peace and quiet. Then, one sunny afternoon, a letter arrives. It's got this fancy, official-looking letterhead. Mountain View Estates Homeowners Association. I'm confused. I did my homework before buying. I checked all the deeds, all the county records. There was no HOA. The letter was a welcome to the neighborhood note, which seemed friendly enough at first, but then it listed a whole bunch of rules. No visible trash cans. Lawn must be mowed to a specific height. And get this, all exterior modifications, including paint color, had to be approved by their architectural review committee. I laughed it off. It had to be a mistake, some kind of junk mail. So, I tossed it. A week later, another letter arrives. This one is less friendly. It's a violation notice. Apparently, my rustic wood stain was not on their approved color palette. They were fining me $100, and there was another fine for my unapproved mailbox. I was starting to get annoyed. I went back through all my closing documents, scoured the county clerk's website again. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. This HOA did not exist, at least not legally for my property. I decided to do some digging. I looked up the name on the letter. A Karen, let's call her that, who was listed as the HOA president. Turns out, she lived a few miles down the road in a newer development. That development did have an HOA. It seemed like she had just decided, on her own, to expand her little kingdom to include my historic property and a few other old homes that were scattered around the area. She had literally just printed up some letterhead and started sending out fake notices. I tried to be neighborly at first. I drove over to her house. It was one of those massive, modern places that looked completely out of place in the mountains. I knocked, and Karen herself answered the door. I politely explained that my property was not part of her HOA, and that these fines were invalid. She just smiled this smug little smile and said, "All properties in this district are under the jurisdiction of the Mountain View Estates HOA for aesthetic preservation. If you don't comply, the fines will continue, and we will place a lien on your property." A lien on my property, based on her made-up rules. Oh, it was on. I knew I had to handle this, but I wanted to see how far she would push it. Over the next month, the violations piled up. My firewood stack was unsightly. The antique wagon wheel leaning against my porch was unapproved yard decor. The fines were now in the thousands. The letters were getting more and more aggressive, threatening legal action, foreclosure. It was absurd. I talked to a few of my neighbors, older folks who had lived here for decades. They were getting the same letters. They were scared. They were retired, on fixed incomes, and the threat of legal fees and liens was terrifying them. One woman was in tears, saying she was considering selling the home her grandfather had built because she couldn't afford the fines. That's when my annoyance turned into cold, hard anger. This wasn't just a power trip anymore. She was preying on vulnerable people. I gathered all the letters, the fake violation notices, and the tearful testimony from my neighbors. I had everything I needed. You see, Karen had made one tiny, little miscalculation. She had no idea who she was messing with. She saw me as some newcomer, some guy in an old cabin she could easily intimidate. She didn't know about my day job. The next county commissioners' meeting was open to the public, as they always are. I made sure my neighbors knew about it. The agenda included a public comment section. When my turn came, I walked up to the podium, and from my seat at the head of the table, I looked out at the audience. I saw my neighbors, looking nervous, and right there in the front row, looking smug as ever, was Karen. Probably there to complain about something else. I cleared my throat and began. Good evening. For those who don't know me, my name is John, and I am your county commissioner for this district. I watched Karen's face. The smug smile froze, then completely vanished. Her eyes went wide. Oh, it was beautiful. I continued. It has come to my attention that a resident has been fraudulently representing a non-existent homeowners association, attempting to extort money from citizens of this county through intimidation and threats of illegal liens. This individual has been targeting several long-standing residents, including senior citizens, causing significant emotional and financial distress. I held up the stack of letters. I have here dozens of fraudulent documents sent by a Ms. Karen Smith, president of the so-called Mountain View Estates HOA, an entity with no legal standing over the properties in question. I looked directly at her. The color had drained from her face. She looked like a deer in headlights. The room was dead silent. "Let me be perfectly clear," I said, my voice echoing in the hall. "This county will not tolerate predatory behavior. Attempting to file a fraudulent lien is a felony. Using the mail to commit fraud is a federal offense. We have already forwarded this entire file to the district attorney's office and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. I expect a full investigation and prosecution to the furthest extent of the law." I paused for effect, letting it all sink in. "And as for the targeted homeowners, let me assure you, these fines are worthless. These liens are illegal. You owe nothing. Your homes are safe." You could feel the wave of relief wash over my neighbors. The woman who had been in tears was now smiling, dabbing her eyes with a tissue for a very different reason. Karen, on the other hand, looked like she was about to be sick. She tried to stand up and say something, but she just stammered and sank back into her chair. After the meeting, she practically sprinted out of the building. The fallout was swift. The DA launched a full-scale investigation. Turns out, she had actually managed to scare one elderly man into paying over $1,000 in fake fines. With the county's help, he got every penny back, plus damages. Karen was hit with multiple charges, including fraud and extortion. Her real HOA, the legitimate one, was so embarrassed by the scandal that they immediately removed her as president. Her reputation in the community was destroyed overnight. T-best part. The whole ordeal brought our little neighborhood closer. We started a real community watch, not to enforce fake rules, but to look out for each other. We have potlucks now, and we all share a good laugh about the time the fake HOA president tried to condemn the county commissioner's cabin. My cabin is still standing, more beautiful than ever, with its unapproved wood stain and unsightly firewood stack. And every time I look at it, I feel a deep sense of satisfaction. It's a reminder that a little bit of knowledge and a well-timed public meeting can make all the difference. Sometimes, the best defense isn't just a good offense. It's being the person who writes the rules.